Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up Missoula. I'm your host, Scott Ramf, and I'm here to tell you about all the wonderful things that are happening this weekend and beyond in the city of Missoula and beyond. Kicking things off, we have a little bit of weather, so we'll talk a little bit about that before we jump into the news. I have a lot of programs and a lot of short videos for you guys. I got a highlight video from Dude I Just Drew and more. With dubbing stuff. I got some city council where they're talking about what they're going to be doing for the future of electronic scooters in the city of Missoula. All right, 48 degrees outside currently. Your high is going to be 80. Your high on Saturday is going to be 78. It's going to be fairly nice. You have that chance of shower happening tonight. Of course, yesterday, if you were around here in Missoula, you can notice that we had quite a flash thunderstorm come through here. It rained pretty hard for 5-10 minutes solid, and then it kind of just started to dry up. So today we might have that. Who knows? You just never know because the summer has been extremely weird. Your high for Sunday is going to be 85 degrees. Your Monday is going to be 87. So Tuesdays, you might see some weather into the 90-degree temperatures with a high of 91 degrees. So temperature shifts. It's going to be a 40-degree difference for most of the weekend and going into next week. So you might want to dress up appropriately depending upon the weather that could change. In local news, Missoula looks towards using TIF funding for their rainy day fund. The Missoulian article says that they added districts and largest tax base in Missoula. There is more than enough money to go around, and the city has set a rainy day fund goal of roughly $3.7 million, or 7% of the general fund budget, with the $725,000 deposit from the TIF grab. The fund is about $1.2 million shy of the goal, Missoula Chief Administrator Dale Bickle said. However, only owners of very rare property with nearly flat or decreased value will actually see a lower tax bill based on this. So far, $12.5 million more than those urban renewal districts were created. So urban renewal districts have seen some growth in their tax base, and they've seen a $12.5 million growth in how much they're garnishing ever since they were created. In state news, Rosebud County commissioners have hit a pause button on Saturday whether or not a $500 million wind farm warrants a 50% tax break. As a result of Colstrip closing some of their plants, a gap was created, and to incentivize companies to build alternative power companies, they brought up a bill which local commissioners believe is a little too much in terms of tax breaks. With a tax break of 50%, Clearwater would pay $2.93 million a year in taxes, said Commissioner Robert Lee. The sticking point for commissioners was impact fees, monies that could be assessed to works on projects where on roads and other services. With Robert Lee, the commissioner of the area, said that it would be extensive as developers delivered concrete and wind turbine parts to the project. The project says it would create 10 permanent jobs, with the 100 jobs they're bringing in terms of building the wind farm. Orion, of course, made a splash when they started to build Montana's largest wind farm in the area of Colstrip, and so far the ticket price is the ticket price for the 300,000 megawatt power plant will be $500,000. $500 million. In national news, ICE, which currently detains 55,530 undocumented immigrants, has been able to detain illegal immigrants in rural facilities, which have higher chance of deporting individuals. Rural communities have very limited legal aids, and they're incarcerated by ICE, which has been the organization tasked with rounding up illegals. Many immigration attorneys say that in reality there are lots of roadblocks, not enough phones, poor connections, little or no access to interpreters, and restrictive visiting hours. Just last week, ICE arrested 680 workers during a raids on food processing plant in Mississippi, and being able to house them in local jails they contract. So one of the big things that are different between having people in jail versus people who are being detained is that the state pays local sheriffs $24.39 per day to house anyone convicted of a crime. By comparison, the average daily rate ICE pays to house an immigrant detainee is 5 times more, which is $126.50 per day per incarcerated individual who are illegal immigrants. ICE confirmed it recently opened 8 new detention facilities, 7 in which are in Louisiana, all but one are in rural areas. NPR reported on this, considers rural areas zip codes with more than 20% of the population of the state. So in international news, this is a big thing that's happening internationally, is that bananas. There's a fungus that is killing a wide amount of bananas, which is affecting the crop. A slow-moving but devastating fungus has spread from Asia and now has been found in the Colombian crops. Samples of the wilting plants in Colombia has confirmed the test of a fear of Fusarium fungus called tropical race 4 or TR4. People involved in banana production or research have taken extreme measures to prevent from spreading. The fungus lives in soil and it invades banana plants through their roots and then blocks their vessels carrying water and nutrients, starving the plants. It kills most of the members of the banana family, including a variety called Cavendish that accounts for the vast majority of bananas traded internationally. Symptoms are often associated with doom of the crop. If the signs of the symptoms means it's already too late. Since it's a soil base, it gets on people's feet, shoes, whatever they go through, and it can transfer to other crops as well, and it can easily be carried away. Scientists in Australia are working on a fungus-resistant variety using genetic engineering on bananas. It's still being tested and will require government approval before it can be grown or sold. And these are like the popular bananas that you would eat. Most banana strains, the natural strains that comes with the seeds where they grow the bananas, have basically, imagine a banana that is full of seeds. It's kind of like a pomegranate, but in banana form. So that's kind of what the original banana looked like before it was crossbred to be the banana that we know today, which is being threatened by the fungus. So that's some of the things that are happening in the news today. I have a couple items I want to talk about in terms of MCAT. So here at MCAT, we do a Saturday drop-in, and it's going to be starting on September 7th. You can go to MCAT.org for more information. You click on this link, you can see the video from last year. But for right now, I'm going to show you the promo that's been airing on MCAT and airing on Facebook and whatnot like that. And you can be sure to like us on Facebook so you can get updates to see what's happening here at MCAT and also connect to live programs that are happening now through our Facebook page. So not necessarily now, but when they happen, you get notified when MCAT is live. So without further ado, here is the promo, and then when I get back, I'm going to talk a little bit more about MCAT. Welcome to the 2019-2020 Saturday drop-in season. Every Saturday, your kid gets to play with media that ranges from stop animation to live action.
You all have the same color!
1 to 5 p.m. every Saturday, $10 per kid and $15 for siblings.
Let's pray!
The fun starts at 500 North Higgins, Suite 105.
You made it to the end of the video.
All right. You made it to the end of the video. So that's just a nice promo, just to kind of show what kind of the videos we have. If you are interested, and if you have a kid between the age of 9 and 14, roughly, they can come in any Saturday, starting September 7th. The school year starts Saturday animation start, and we go until May, until the last Memorial Day weekend, which we don't do Saturday drop-ins on Memorial weekend. So every single Saturday, from 1 to 5 p.m. MCAT's a great resource for anybody who's interested in broadcasting, anybody who's interested in media, getting a step up. I met a couple kids through the Boys and Girls Club when they were coming here for a tour. And speaking of tours, MCAT does host tours here, and if you have a group or a nonprofit organization that wants to get connected with MCAT and help spread the word, help work on production videos to help promote your nonprofit, you can go to MCAT.org. Tours are available. You can go click on here. You can also go to How Do I Request Event Recording, Submit a Program, and can you join MCAT? And many of the programs that you're about to see now are a reflection of the community that has engaged with MCAT. So without further ado, here are some of the new programs that are going to be airing at MCAT. And when I come back, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of movies that are coming out this weekend. So stay with me.
And when you live in an environment, whether you've been to combat or not, the military can sometimes be very simple. You have to have a clean uniform, and you have to do your job. You have to stay in shape. You get chow pretty much. Your life is not dealing with picking out breakfast cereal. You don't pay taxes while you're deployed. You don't have to worry about the car breaking or the kids having a cold. You don't have to worry about doing a lot of these things which in modern American society are really, really, really hard. I mean, they're just hard. They're chaotic and they're hard.
Sex discrimination, while offering protections for domestic violence victims and sexually harassed victims, it does not include protections for the LGBTQ community. Now, on occasion, if a housing provider has denied services to someone because they're lesbian, we're able to fit that under sex because lesbians are female. So if someone, for example, will provide services to lesbians but not people who are gay, we can make that argument.
So, why Diversity Day? On April 12, 2010, Empower Montana's youth leaders launched the Diversity Day celebration in response to rising controversy in LGBTQ discrimination surrounding the city's then proposed anti-discrimination ordinance. Mayor John Engen officially declared April 12th as Diversity Day in Missoula, and the event was credited for playing a key role in influencing the following day's landmark city council vote to extend non-discrimination protection to Missoula's LGBTQ community.
I don't know that anybody's ever held the Peace Corps out as some sort of a bargaining chip. As I understand it, and again, this is sort of the upper level echelon sort of management things, again, the country has to apply for the Peace Corps. I don't think there are ever any strings attached to that because, well, it would disappoint me if there were. If it was ever sort of like, okay, if you do this, we'll give you the Peace Corps.
Yeah, like would it surprise you if it was used that way?
Yes. Mostly because I think most people see this as sort of a benevolent organization. And it would disappoint me greatly if somebody like the State Department said, oh, if you don't do this, we're going to yank all those volunteers. And I don't know has anybody ever heard of that? And so it would disappoint me greatly if it was. I would probably throw down my pen in anger.
The State Department doing things like that?
I'm sure they do that with other things, but I hope they don't do it with the Peace Corps. I'm sure if they did do it, they probably wouldn't tell people about it.
What started out as a momentum-building trailer that happened about 6 or 8 months ago has finally come into fruition, and nobody has really noticed that this movie even came out. It's Angry Birds 2, people. It's time for Pre-Critic. So these are a bunch of movies that are coming out this week, and Angry Birds are back, and boy, do they have another story to term in terms of a strategy-based pay-to-play game for your phone, which has become a movie. So basically, imagine you have all the characters. The best thing you could do is introduce a greater evil, so the characters have to come together and work together to fight the evil. It's just kind of how it is. So join Red and the gang as they team up with unexpected allies, the pigs, to take on the birds because reasons. Anyways, this movie will probably have moments of adversity and insert character that will be there to forward the plot without having too much background. Maybe they're just like, I have problems. I'm like, okay, and then they just move on and forget about it. So anyways, if they appease your kids' basic humor, potty humor, if you've seen the trailer, it's clear that they have literally humor that's happening in the bathroom. So if you're good with that, loud noises and all of them colors distract you from being a parent for an hour and a half while the kids just enjoy a colorful movie. There you go. That's your movie for you. Up next, kind of the opposite of a kid's movie, but you have kids who are swearing and all this stuff. So I remember actually watching this trailer. It happened literally after the trailer for the Mr. Rogers movie with Tom Hanks. I'm just like, oh, this is so heartwarming. And then, boom, you have a Red Band trailer with the Good Boys. So after watching if you don't really care much about F-bombs in a movie constantly and you have a bunch of tweens, anyways, this movie jumps right into the whole we need to steal beer to be cool and we need to do this to prove otherwise it's going to be social suicide. I don't care about being social blah, 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 but I actually do. Anyways, see friendship get pushed to limits in the super bad style, Tropical Thunder, blah, 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 where the next one will be like, look who's talking. You remember those movies with the talking babies? It's like, look who's talking, but I'm pretty sure at some point people already come up with the idea where the movie it should be called Look Who Shouldn't Be Talking. So just think about babies that swear. That's probably the next step after this movie. It's only going to get younger from here. Anyways, here's another movie that you probably might have not have heard of, but apparently is a sequel to a movie that you might have not heard of as well. It's just another shark movie. So the whole idea is that you remember the shark movie where people get trapped in a cage 47 meters down in the ocean surrounded by water? Well, here's another one. I guess. 47 meters down, Uncaged brings you down into the shark-infested waters to check out an underwater city. But the city is filled with sharks, and they have a couple characters they have to kill off, cannon fodder. They have a couple characters that are like the main characters who are just like, I have to get over my own personal struggle. With the helps of these sharks, I'll be able to get over my personal struggles and blah, 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 blah. But they always have these movies and will make you scared of the water. I love you, Bruce! Just so you know, Bruce is the name of the shark they give for the movie Jaws. There's a couple movies that are coming out this weekend as well, but I have another movie I want to show you guys, and it is from the kids. It's basically kind of a horror film itself. So these are from the kids of the Boys and Girls Club. This is dropping today, so you guys get the first chance to see this. Most of the kids that are in it have not seen it yet, but they'll be able to see it as soon as it's up on my YouTube channel, starting at 10 a.m. So without further ado, here is this.
I might get something from the What to choose, what to choose.
Burritos today. What was that? I don't know.
I don't know either.
He's dead.
What was it? I don't know about this, guys. Maybe we should get out of here.
No.
What? What would we do with his body? What did it, though?
He turned in?
I don't know. What was that?
I don't know. But we should get out of here. I think this place is haunted.
Ah!
What's that? I don't know. Let's go, let's go. Go, go, go.
I just want to say thanks to all the kids who came down here for the Boys and Girls Club. We didn't have as much time as we did last year, so we don't have too many of those small, cute videos that we've made. But we do have a bunch of studio shows that will be airing on MCAT sometime later this month or next month. But but it was really fun to have the Boys and Girls Club come down here. We have them pretty much every single year. We've had them on here since 2014. It is a wonderful service that we do with a lot of organizations. If you are an organization who wishes to come down here and learn more about broadcast or just have some fun like that, you guys can come on down here and just give us a call at 542-6228, otherwise known as 542-MCAT. I think I'm going to do one more video for you guys. I have a lot of videos today, and I want to get through as many as I possibly can. I have dubbing stuff, so it's a brand new dubbing stuff for you guys. And when after this movie, I will talk about all your city council stuff, and then I'll have some more event stuff happening as well. So without further ado, here is Horror Express.
Girl, please sit down. Well, you do know this is the only time I'm actually going to say word for word exactly.
Well, what exactly do you have to say? Can't you see that I'm mad hungry?
You have no idea.
A cut, in this skull. Okay, hand me the thing.
Oh, here you go.
Crush, crack.
I happen to know the rarest meat of all, and I'm ready to sell it to you. Judging by your face, you're extremely interested. Mm-hmm.
Where would you say this meat came from, my dear? Perhaps from the black market? Or frankly, do you honestly think that I'm going to buy this meat without knowing exactly where it came from in the first place? Do you think that I'm just going to pick up the phone
and call me maybe?
No.
Well, I'd call me.
Well, this scene's kind of getting boring. Maybe we should switch over to the doctor scene, cutting open that guy's head. All right, guys, we're gonna make this fun. Cut, cut, cut. A crack, crack, crack. Gonna split the head.
Why on earth would anyone want to see that? It's disgusting.
Looking for 4 beer. You're in the clear.
This conversation is very unclear. Perhaps, please, tell me if you were interested in buying my meats.
Oh, God, what is it?
I beg your pardon?
Listen, you have to sell a lot of meat, right? The thing is that I already have a guy. He's really good. Boop ba-doop 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 boop. Hey, I got a question. Have you ever seen that movie RoboCop 2?
Oh, I don't know about you, but that looks like the pink stuff that you get at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, not quite. It's in his head.
Why would they put pink stuff in his head anyways?
Yeah, and where's the turkey? Well, I gotta say that the turkey has come home to roost. Well, I guess we'll have to cancel Thanksgiving. And perhaps Christmas as well. What a crazy time we live in, where we find a dead body with pink stuff in its head.
If you're wondering if that is ever necessary, it never is necessary, but I do it anyways. All right, moving on. Let's talk about some things with the city council. Kicking things off in the city there's a presentation on acquisition of the Bluebird Hills property for the open space bond. Open space bond was a bond that passed a couple years back in 2004, but then it was expanded back in 2016 to help advocate open land and natural land and open up trails for people to wander and look at the beauty, majesty of Missoula. Payla Holt, Public Lands Trust Director, shows the space that is going to be acquired.
Is right here, and this area here shows the Scott Street North Reserve area, and this is the area west of Reserve. And this area has seen significant residential development in recent years, and it's been identified as an area that can accommodate more residential growth as part of the community's effort to address the affordable housing challenges in our area.
And of course, as you can see right here, South Hills, it's becoming very Hillview Way up here in the north. This is the particular area that they want to do open space bond. They want to be able to open trails and have people have access to more of the mountain and the area, just so people have a chance to check it all out, and it's not just exclusive to neighborhoods. All right, so there's more that they talk about in terms of this, and let me get my notes. So they talk about the benefits of having open space in this particular area as well.
And it's open spaces like this that help improve people's mental health and physical health, and they bring people together and help create community. And for this family pictured here up on the property, they're a longtime Missoula family, and they refer to being out in places like this as nature therapy because it does so much to improve their lives.
All right, sorry about that quote. The picture, I couldn't show you the full picture. For some reason, it won't let me now expand it. That's weird. Okay, so it's just the city of Missoula has a new system in place, so I'm just trying to figure out how it's working and everything like that. So I'm just having a little technical difficulties with the new system that they have in the city. The city did approve it and move forward with their the county for approval. They wanted to open up access for folks. There was a bar interested in putting up a residential area up there in the North Hills, but now there's going to be open space and more natural land as well. Gwen Jones, the city council member, reflects on this motion as well.
I just wanted to draw attention to a couple of points that I think are really important. First of all, this is in an area that is completely on the other side of Missoula from a prior acquisition, which was the Barmeyer property. Tons of people are using that Barmeyer property and going up and hiking up there, seeing the beautiful views. So I really like that we are able to spread the acquisitions around the perimeter of Missoula so that all of the different neighborhoods can have access, and not only Grant Creek, but all of the residential areas west of North Reserve, east of North Reserve. This is just going to be a huge boon, I think. So I'm really, really pleased about that. The other thing...
All right, so, wait, hold on a second. There I am. Here I am. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about what's happening within the city. Electronic bikes, like I teased before. Yeah, this won't go full screen. Yep, so you're not going to get full screen this time, but next time I'll make sure that you guys get full screen for your video. I don't know what's going on with it, but I don't know. I'll figure it out some other time. Electric bikes are still kind of up in the air for the mass use of alternative transportation to be used on bike trails and limiting them to some walking trails around Missoula. Ross Best, during public comment, spoke in length about e-bikes.
Some people have the impression that electric bicycles under this proposed ordinance would be banned in the downtown area. But the way it's written, it only says that they'd be banned if there are signs posted. Even if signs were posted, there's no reason to believe that the city government would be willing to enforce such a prohibition.
All right, so that was Ross Best talking a little bit more about that. Most of these ordinance and municipal codes would be fine-based, so if you got caught illegally riding the e-scooter, you'd be fined with tickets and stuff like that. So that's kind of how ordinances work in the city of Missoula. You cannot be, one of the things that they really talked about is that you cannot be incarcerated based on city council ordinances, but you can be fined over time. Jesse Goldberg is, let's see, hold on a second. Okay, so here's Jessie Goodburn, and she's all about the e-bikes.
And allowing them on our streets is a step in the right direction toward building a more active transportation network. Where I'm most swayed by arguments against e-bikes is conversations with pedestrians, particularly those who have their own mobility and sensory concerns. In my perfect world, pedestrians and cyclists would not be the ones having to grapple with these issues, would not be the ones having to grapple with sharing space, and we would instead be looking at how we could incorporate protected bike lanes onto our streets so that cyclists would feel they had a safe place, and that would leave the sidewalks to pedestrians. One thing that cyclists and pedestrians have in common is that they are both moving through space with little to no bodily protection. So anyone who has ridden a bike really should be able to identify with a pedestrian who says that they felt unsafe when something has passed them. We've all had cars come past us quickly, maybe rev their engines. So I think that cyclists identify with that. And as a pedestrian, I felt that as well with cars more than bikes.
All right, so then that was one of the arguments for the e-bikes. This particular motion was approved. Let's see. And so okay. So e-bikes is kind of like right now they're trying to figure out one of the major things that they wanted to do over the summer is they wanted to approve e-bikes so they could start mass producing or like having a company come in here and having electronic scooters and electronic bikes for people to check out and be able to ride their bikes around town along with that. But that didn't necessarily pass because there's just a lot of liabilities. There's a lot of tiers when it comes to it. This particular motion was approved, and this was basically to give permission to be able to allow e-scooters and different types of semi-electronic vehicles to be allowed on the road. And this is just to help clarify. It's like if things go a little too fast, then they basically have to become street legal. Otherwise, they're allowed on the trails and the bike lanes and stuff like that. And it's also to help clean up some of the things that are happening in terms of bicycles on sidewalks and whatnot like that. Moving on. Historic preservation is a big thing here in the city of Missoula, and incentivizing historic preservation and building reuse in Title 20 is necessary and could benefit from establishment of a AR overlay tool. This overlay tool would incentivize the preservation of historically significant buildings in Missoula by supporting the reuse of buildings while also maintaining protecting a neighborhood's unique historic built form and character. Amy Sharon, Historic Preservation Officer, talks a little bit more about this as well.
code. Building code, we put this just as kind of a addition. They already do review for this, but it's just a good reminder that historic buildings will be reviewed under 3409 of the International Building Code, which is the International Historic Building Code. Fire code, which we consulted with, and building folks, that it would be reviewed with NFPA, which is the Code for Fire Protection of Historic Structures.
All right, so one of the things that they really wanted to harp on is that they really want to talk about in terms of converting an old school into like a restaurant, and John DeBari asked that question.
If there was an old school and it was zoned OP, whatever, and somebody bought it and proposed putting a restaurant in there. Obviously, the base zoning would not permit a restaurant, but by virtue of the fact that it would go through this public process and city council would have a chance to weigh in and condition it, somebody could go ahead and potentially put a restaurant in that building. Oh, that's correct. You're nodding your head.
That is correct.
Right.
And like you said, it would go before the public, so it would have all the public notice, and it would be a public hearing. So the public would be alerted if the neighborhood did not want this to happen.
So part of this updated Title 20 ordinance is to have an overlay for historic preservation buildings. It's to incentivize people into restoring old buildings and also being able to keep the character in place as they're developing a new business or property in that area as well. That's pretty much it for City Council. Let me tell you guys about what's happening for Monday. In the this next segment, I've just kind of added to the City Council report. Fiscal year 2020 budget. They're going to be approving the budget for the City of Missoula for fiscal year 2020. They have been doing the budget committee meetings since I think late February, and they talk about paying bills and how they can put various funds into mill levies and how have it been passed over years. Hence, they talked about more of that rainy day fund that I talked about in the news earlier in the show. Fees will go up like they do annually. Basically all about the money. Jesse Ramos says he will not vote in favor of this city, but he will also not keep the meeting up for till 3 a.m. last year. He's against the budget based on the folks who have a limited income and a growing tax base. Land use and planning jumped on the old 68-unit townhouse exemption Hillview Way process, and this has been a project that has been bouncing back and forth in committee, public hearings, and this is basically a Hillview Way project to build through the townhouse exemption district, and this is it's a huge project. Most townhouse projects are relatively small, maybe about 20 to 40 units, but this is a 68 unit deal, and they're going to be happening over the course of 4 to 5 years, but they are still in the planning phase, and this has kind of been bouncing back and forth for a while now. I'm not going to talk too much about it because the city has been talking about it a lot with the organization that's trying to put this forward. All right, so that pretty much does it for your city council. I got some highlights from Dude I Just Drew Summer Series Episode 3, and this is Tom Nielsen. He came on the show once again to challenge Rowan to some drawing, and here are some of the fun things that happened during that time.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dude I Just Drew Summer Series with a returning guest, Tom.
Yep, that's me.
And since we're having, excuse me, since we're having a returning guest, we're going to have ourselves a challenge. We're going to be drawing with these pens. These are Faber-Castells and a Sharpie.
Essentially, no erasing.
No erasing. Can't erase any of it. Anything that is there is permanent. Yeah. I know goblins are gross, and I know chickens are interesting.
Goblins are pretty scary, huh?
They're kind of scary.
Goblins typically eat chickens.
They typically eat chickens, right?
So it's kind of...
They steal them because they're little grubby ass dards. Little dummies.
Oh, nice, Tom. Chicken goblins.
Yeah.
Goblin.
Goblins have knives.
Chicken goblins.
I thought it was
Goblins are thieves. Oh, thief.
Yeah.
He needs a little bag of gold.
Yeah.
I'm kind of digging it. I feel like goblins have more wrinkles, though. I need to wrinkle them up a little. Like, ow!
It looks like he's giving a little bit of a look at it.
Steal from small villages, I must.
Isn't Yoda like a goblin? Right? I don't know.
Oh, he's got the same features.
He's got the features of a goblin.
How is he a chicken?
He's got a little chicken body.
A chicken body. Big chicken.
He's a thin chicken. He's a wild chicken.
A wild chicken.
I think wild chickens are thinner. Swarm in vast numbers. We adventurers we must.
There we go.
Let's take a final look. I see little eggs beside him.
Yeah.
Oh no. I don't even want to.
I'm so dead. It's more just wholesome octopus family.
Wholesome
That does look wholesome.
Hey, everybody. Look at my family. You guys see what you got there.
Oh, Dr. Octopus?
Yep.
I wonder if we found the time to be a guy. Tom, I have a feeling that you really like Spider-Man.
It's happening on
I do.
Tom's page.
You had Spider-Chair in the last episode.
Yeah, like
Talked about Spider-Man.
I sort of do too many Spider-Men. I don't realize how much I like Spider-Man until I start drawing, and then it's just always Spider-Man.
I mean, Snake with a vest is great because, like, how's he gonna wear a vest?
It's too big.
Can't put a snake in a vest.
There's one of those Walmart vests and it's like, welcome to Walmart.
Welcome to Walmart. I am a snake. This is, I see you gave him a tie as well.
Yeah, it felt right, you know?
Skins wear ties. They don't know how they tie it.
The problem with the snake vest is that he's gonna, like, constantly have to, like, bite it to pull it up, or else it's just gonna slip right off him.
Lay down.
You'd have to
Use
get him,
your tail
like,
to fold it over yourself, and then you find those little buttons.
at least get him, like, some prosthetic shoulders.
That'd be whack.
Robot arms.
Yeah, give him some snake arms.
They don't want to be a snake.
Make him
be a lizard. Oh, wow. I like the detail you put it in the vest.
Nice.
Very tweed. Is it tweed?
Yeah. And water slave.
Give me some more.
Oh, no. It's going down.
Water time.
I'm calling the police. But I'm getting camera time for it, okay?
Okay. Colonel, why'd you send me in winter gear? This is the desert. Colonel, I'm raiding area. Colonel, I'm behind the curtains. Thank you.
You won, Colonel. But
I'm wearing thirstless.
I'm wearing the sweater vest. Excuse me? Snake reporting for duty.
Never skip me day.
Never skip me day.
Plain court on parole?
Who? Playing court 3, :
So he's like...
out on parole.
So he's like, and hey guys.
Out on parole.
Crazy. Look at guys, I made it.
He's back from being in jail. Hey guys, I'm back from being in jail.
Guys, crazy thing.
I saw a snake on the way home.
He
was wearing a vest.
I saw a snake. I don't know what.
It was like a Beatles song. I saw a snake in a vest. Oh no.
Stay out of trouble. Plain court, you're on patrol.
Out of trouble.
Get up on out in my court.
Got it.
Playing court, out on parole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, a plane more like a bird. I don't know.
Bro, you just can't.
What is that? What?
Does that count? Alternate universe Rowan and Tom.
Oh, that was mine too.
What?
click on the bell to get notified every time we upload new video.
And we lost one.
When does it stop?
Yep. Spider-Man again.
Spider-Man. Isn't it obvious that we're both built like this in real life? So it's us as demons in
You're making Hellboy.
You mean the Home for Infinite Losers?
Yeah, the Home for Infinite Losers, obviously.
Hate poetry, I do.
As far as
Get me out of this, you must.
Well, there's just some tiny feet.
Some goat legs.
Oh no.
And tail.
He's in the new Aladdin, right? Right.
Yeah, alternate dimension.
Yeah. All the rounds.
Another episode finished. Great having Tom back again. It was great.
It was fun being back.
It's fun. Yeah. It was fun. Yeah. Shake some hands.
Oh.
Social media.
No, please. Social media. And social media. Nowhere2999. Slim Jimmy.
Slim Jimmy, 2 underscores, 1s instead of I's.
Yes. And yeah, and that's about it. No. So what we have stuff more stuff? Patreon. Patreon spreadshirt. Okay. All right. Website. Okay. And that's it. I think. Right. That's it. Does it sound like I need anything else? I don't think so. All right.
Stream Revolution Lover on Spotify.
Yeah. See you guys later. All right. Bye bye. Woo! It's all over.
Alright, hey guys, welcome back. Let's jump into some of the events that are happening in and around the city of Missoula. Kicking things off for your morning is Tiny Tales. If you're interested in your kid going on to the public library, learning some reading and getting engaged with books and words, Tiny Tales and Storytime at Missoula Public Library are happening at 10:30 a.m. It always happens most days. They do it Wednesdays. They have it in Power Place in Frenchtown Branch, but most days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, I believe it's going to be at the Missoula Public Library, always at 10:30 a.m. Kids Table. This is happening until the end of next week, and this is a good way for kids. It's free lunch for kids and their caregivers. They'll have free lunch and activities for kids. Activities are sponsored by Missoula Public Library, Spectrum Discovery Center, Missoula Food Bank, and a fun variety of Missoula organizations, and happened from June 27th and it ends on August 23rd, which is the next Friday show. So this is 11:30 pretty much every single weekday. Also, the Missoula Public Library does yarns and watercolor if you're interested in doing that kind of stuff. It starts at noon. They usually do it most Fridays. Cribbage and Bridge, Missoula Senior Center, they have a bunch of these card games. You hang out at the best dance floor in the city of Missoula. 12:30ish during lunchtime. It's great. Later in the afternoon today, predator feeding on the Missoula Insectarium. They'll be feeding the cricket to one of the hungry predators. 4 p.m. every Friday. Join us as they explain how they demonstrate and capture and consume their prey. Come see who is hungry today. Family Friendly Friday, Top Hat Lounge. They might be doing Girls Rock Camp every Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. Top Hat presents Family Friendly Friday, a time where kids and their family can hang out at the Top Hat, drink specials, blah, 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 all that stuff. But also, a lot of times, the ZAC works with the Top Hat, and they have performances from their camps that they put on all week long. Missoula Osprey versus Great Falls is happening tonight at the Oregon Park at Allegiance Field. Mumford & Son played earlier this week. I think it was last weekend, but this weekend, it's going to be some baseball. It's going to be Great Falls versus Missoula. Cheer on the local minor league baseball team. All right, so there's a couple things happening tonight as well. If you're interested in going out and about on the town, they got Jones Zen Band's going to be at the Union Club. They got some All House U DJ music at the Badlander. They got Neon Lights at the Flying Squirrel. They got The War and Treaty at the Top Hat Lounge. It's R&B and folk. Breakfast Boys Leisure League is going to be at Zootown Arts Community Center starting at 8 p.m. Most of these are going to be late night events, so you can check them out. Your day's done. Go listen to a cool band and see what that's all about. I have an art clip for you guys, and this is a brand new art clip, which will only last until August 30th. So you only have 2 more weeks to check all this out. And this is featuring Zach Williams. What comes after a long, long day? Here's some of the art. Hey guys, welcome back. Those art clips are provided by Rick Phillips. He's also the city council guy. He runs and operates the cameras during your city council meetings and committee meetings. But he also goes around to the art museums and check out some of the art, because a lot of times those art installations only last for so long before you never see them again most of the time. All right, so what else do I have on the docket? Saturday events. Let's talk about some things that are happening on Saturday. Kicking things off for your Saturday events are all your markets. They go well into October, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Get your chance on fresh veggies, breads, and all sorts of knickknacks, paddywhacks. Give a dog a bone. And some they have some limitations on dogs wandering in the market, so if you're going to bring your dog, make sure it's a service animal, which are welcome at the markets. Missoula MVP 3-on-3 basketball tournament. It's going to be at the basketball courts. This is going to be happening. It's a tournament fundraiser. It's going to be 3 games minimum, tons of prizes and swag, and it's at the basketball courts. Outlaws and Lawmen benefit Casa of Missoula. The Sunrise Saloon is Outlaw and Lawmen is live at the Sunrise. Dance to Missoula's hottest new country band. It's $5 cover with proceeds going to Casa of Missoula. And this thing is kicking off at 9:30 a.m. So you can check that out as well. I believe they might have misinterpreted the AM PM, so it might be happening tomorrow night. So we'll have to double check that. But most of the time it happens at night, just so you know. Hands-on Science Stomp Rockets, Spectrum Discovery Center at 10 a.m. They're doing, this is craft your own rockets and learn what challenges NASA engineers face at the Discovery Bench on Saturday. And they're doing cardboard construction there in the makerspace as well. It's $350 for anyone 4 and over, and if you're under 3, you're getting free. And it's their 812 Tool Avenue address across from Draftworks Brewing Company. Restore the historic engine number 7 work parties. The historic engine number 7 was featured in the movie Timberjack, the 1955 movie where they filmed in Bonner. It's a big train. It's one of those trains that had one of those mufflers on top that it was coal powered, so any of the timber that would any of the fire that would rise would be caught, so the embers wouldn't catch fire to the forest. So engine number 7 is in need of repair and maintenance, and they're looking for volunteers who just want to come on down from 10 a.m. to about mid-afternoon, and this happens tomorrow, and it also happens on August 31st as well. So you have this Saturday, and then 2 weeks from now they're going to be doing it again, and they're always looking for people to get their hands dirty to help out with restoration. Saturday open hours of the Moonround Homestead, 11 a.m. Moonround Homestead, happen where they give walk-around tours. It's a homestead. Homesteading was very popular back in the day to establish towns and territories for people, and one of the old homesteads still exists today up in the Waterworks Hill, technically in that area, but Moon Randolph Homestead is pretty easy to find. You go around their website, moonrandolphhomestead.org. Nerf on Turf, Missoula Indoor Sports Arena, 6 p.m. Running Fridays from 4 to 9 p.m., Saturdays from 6 to 9 p.m., and Sundays from 5 to 8 p.m. Come as an individual. Bring your friends to join the fun. Nerf on Turf. You play with Nerf guns. What more could you ask for? And it's at the Missoula Indoor Sports Arena. And let's talk about some late night events for happening on Saturday. If you're going out and about on Saturday, you got Neon Lights, a Flying Squirrel once again. You got some live music at the VFW. You got some DJ music, absolutely, with Chris Moon of the Badlander. You have karaoke night at Lolo Hot Springs. The Shiver will be at the Union Club. And Astorial Drive is going to be at Top Hat Lounge. It's miscellaneous music, so it could be anything. And so those are pretty much all your events that are happening in the city of Missoula. If you're interested in learning more about what's happening in Missoula, you go to MissoulaEvents.net. Hey, what's going on in Missoula? You'll go to this website. You find out just the typical events that are happening in Missoula as well. But also, if you're interested in learning more about MCAT and more, you can go on to the morning shows page, wakeupmissoula.wixsite.com/wakeupmissoula. So nice you made you write it out twice. All you got to do is look up Wake Up Missoula on the Google, and you can find this and many other sources from YouTube, Facebook, and the Twitter. MCAT.org is where you can find all local resources for what's happening with MCAT, local government meetings, the future home of MCAT, which is going to be the new library. And if we click on this link right here, it'll show you what the library looks like right now. Look at it. It's really popping up. They got the bones down. They had a barbecue there the other day, and my boss, Joel Baird, was able to get a nice look around, get some pictures and stuff like that from up there as well. So if you click on the link on our MCAT.org website, you can get a link to the current view of it. I'm assuming you'll probably see a time-lapse video once the whole construction is complete, and we will plan on moving in there sometime June of 2020. So it's quite a feat. It's going to be quite a ways away. There's a lot of books they got to have to carry over, and they got to do some interior design and whatnot like that. If you're interested in finding out what's happening with the City of Missoula, ordinances, laws, upcoming meetings, and more, you can go to ci.missoula.mt.us. It is a wonderful website where I get all of my information that I present to you on the City Council report. All right, that's pretty much everything I need to talk to you guys about. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Look up me on Wake Up Missoula, and you can find out more. So without further ado, for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ramp. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Friday.